October board meeting of the Frankfurt Plant Board is Tuesday, October 21st, 5 o'clock in the community room at the FPB Administration Building. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Member DeLong?
Here.
Member Huon?
Here.
Member Mason?
Here.
Member Snyder?
Here.
Member Dutton Mitchell?
Here.
We have a quorum to do business. First item is approval of minutes. We've got the minutes before us of the September 16th, 2025 board meeting. Everybody should have had a chance to look at them. Is there any changes or corrections?
I believe I have a correction.
Okay.
Under 6.1, I think it's reversed on who made the motion and who seconded it.
Okay.
Did, Mr. Snyder is
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think you're right.
correct?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
all right. If we
Any
could
other
just
changes or
correct
corrections? So do we have a motion to adopt the minutes with the correction as noted?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
it. Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are adopted. Next, financials. Mr. Denton.
Yes, good evening. We sit here tonight presenting with you the September 30th, 2025 financials. So this will be the end of the first quarter for fiscal year 26. Our year ends each June 30th, so this will be the first quarter of the fiscal year 26. I'd like to quickly just jump in here on page 17, just give you a few highlights of where we are. Statement of net position, this shows us there are assets, liabilities, and net position as of September 30th. We have our current year compared to a year ago. I kind of just sees how we have progressed over the last year. So looking at line 75, total assets as of September 30th, 25, you can see we had right at 246 million in total assets. You'll notice that's up 4.5 million or 1.9%. That increase in assets is driven primarily by the company's investment in property, plant, and equipment. You might remember over this last year some of the large capital and equipment investments we made. You know, for electric, our T21 transformer, and water, we had our Midway line extension we're still working on, and the filter isolation valve project. And then in telecom, our largest investment for the company-wide was the Nextband fiber to the home project for our existing customers and also expanding into the county with our Kentucky broadband grants. So that drove our increase in assets. Looking at total liabilities, line 155 as of September 30th, right at 93 million. You can see that's down 9 million, which is going the right direction. Primarily, that's driven by the decrease in our pension and OPEB liability from Kentucky Public Pension Authority. That's something that's completely out of our control, but we must book our portion of that liability, but that's gone down. So when you have your assets up and your liabilities down, you can see our net position increased 13.5 million to just at 153 million for the September 30th period, bringing our assets and liabilities in line with our liabilities and net position in line with total assets at $246 million. I'd be glad to answer any questions on the balance sheet there, but that's a kind of quick summary of what it looks year over year. We have in here our cash and investment schedule, debt schedule, statement of revenues, expenses, and change in net position for all three divisions, and our admin departments, and cash flow statement. Also, our check registers for our two most active checking accounts. So those are there for you, and be glad to answer any questions on those. I'd like to quickly look at financial performance for the first 3 months. So I'm looking here at page 22. This would be the statement of revenues, expenses, and change in net position. This is company-wide. This is taking all of our three divisions and admin departments into one single income statement. Looking at the third and fourth line are our actual and budget figures. You'll notice that we are slightly outperforming budget in revenue and below in expenses, which is the right direction. So I'm going to focus just quickly on year over year. When you look at year over year, our total revenue is just down slightly at 1%, down 300,000 from a year ago. But if you look at our total expenses, they're actually down 1%. So the decrease in revenue is being offset by our cost containment this year. So doing better than expected through the budget to actual for this first 3 months. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have, but we're off to a decent start.
Any questions for David? Okay, do we have a motion to accept the financials?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Financials are accepted. Let me just make a comment on the next one for David. He had called me last week, and because of the federal shutdown, there's some final guidance that our auditors need from the Office of Management and Budget to complete. we've got two options. We can go on and ask them to complete without it, which means after those guidelines are issued, they'll have to go back and do some more work, which will cost more. Or we can wait a little while to see when the shutdown ends, our auditors can get the guidance and then submit them. And David mentioned that state government, who is very highly dependent on their audit and their ratings because of their bonds and so forth, state government has elected to hold and wait for the guidance. So that's where they're at, and they're sitting on roughly a $38 billion budget, and they're holding. So David, I'll turn it over to you. And
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So the board retained Blue & Company for this year's fiscal audit. They can go ahead and issue financial statements to us like we've always had before. They can go ahead and do that now, or they can go ahead and issue later a full set of statements, which includes a schedule of expenditures of federal awards and the single audit. That would be in two different deliverables, which would increase the audit fee just a little bit. So like Mr. Cuban was mentioning, their recommendation and what the state's doing is to we sit tight, wait to see what happens with the 2025 compliance supplement when it comes out. We really don't have any third-party time restrictions on us that are pressing. We have a year to submit the SPGE information. And with West Banco, the fiber loan that we have, there is a timeline, but they're very, very flexible with allowing us more time. So if it's, just want to get your guidance, but just want to see what you want to do, we can just kind of hold tight, see when this thing comes out. If it becomes too long and the board would like to go ahead and have the audit draft, we can go with two different deliverables.
John?
David, once the shutdown is over, how long, what are we looking like after the shutdown's over? How long will it take us to get the guidance, and how long will it take to produce the documents?
I know there's a draft. The draft supplement is out there.
Okay.
So to me, I would think being able to finalize that draft, I would think would be pretty timely.
quickly. Okay.
And then the financial statements, we're still working on them. There's some things to get through, but it'll be, in the time that we have, that we're waiting, we'll have those done.
Right.
And it'll just be on the single audit will be what take a little time for the auditors to get that done once that supplement's released.
And
So
the single
I
audit
think
is
by
the federal fund requirement.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what the single audit is all about. If we didn't have any federal funds, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But because we got some federal funds in this fiscal year, we've got to comply with that provision.
I think once the compliance supplement comes out, within a month, we could have
Good.
the information.
And nothing's popped yet that's of any concern, anything on the audit so far? Everything's been.
Nope, there is a new
everything's going
GASB Statement 101 that we'll have to implement this year. It's for compensated absences, so we'll need to add a little bit of liability for unused vacation and comp time. But
Okay.
that is something this is the first year we'll have to implement that.
Okay.
That's something we do that for vacation already, it's in the financials, but we'll book adjustment for those six time leave in
Okay.
COB. But other than that, it's just, there's nothing that's really popped out as outside the ordinary.
Hans, since this is, do we need to act on this, or since this is information, we're just acknowledging we're going to wait for the audit, or do we need to take formal action?
No, sir. It's the board's preference. I don't think you'd have to take any action to simply wait.
Okay.
Wait on the guidance, but whatever your all's preference is, you're welcome to do.
So that's okay, we'll just, we got the information, and if that's okay with everyone. So, I mean, I feel pretty good that state government's part for the single audit's like $17 billion. If they're holding, and like I said, they're very contingent because they get that rating, which affects their bond rating. And if they're holding, then I think we're in decent company as far as, always good covering a crowd, so. Next one, information, public comments.
Nothing except for the web comment that I sent out this afternoon.
And did everybody have a chance to see that? A customer wanted to know why our rates weren't cheaper, and one of April's staff responded, laid out the differences in our plan versus others and so forth. I thought it was a good response, but it was basically saying, why aren't you all cheaper? And it was a different speed, it was different, I mean, it was kind of apples and oranges.
Mr. Chairman, I want to address one thing
Sure.
that was in that comment, and you know, the comment from the consumer, or from the client, said that they wish they had the ability to do another competitor. And I think I want to make it clear that in the area, you know, water's water and electric is electric, but in terms of telecom, we have no monopoly.
Right.
So if someone wants to come into our area and overbuild us, and we already see that
Yep.
with them overbuilding some of the stuff where we're building our fiber network with AT&T and other folks, the only thing stopping from them to do that is their business case, as to
Right.
whether they think they can get enough customers. So we have no exclusive monopoly in the
Right.
area of telecom. So I just want to point that out and make sure that the public is aware of that. So if Spectrum or AT&T or something is not serving your neighborhood, that's because Spectrum and AT&T doesn't want to serve your
Right.
neighborhood. So,
Number 4, informational items. Mr. General Manager, you want to take us through them?
I'd probably ask a Travis Star to take care of the operation part.
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to. First up, I think Kathy is out of town at a conference, so Scott, are you filling in? Okay, yep, so Scott will fill in for the public information.
Just want to start by thanking everybody, all the employees who helped to make Customer Appreciation Day a success.
And the ice cream was great.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it
I got
was.
some of that too.
No, just saying, I mean,
Yeah.
assuming I was there and ate some, I mean,
And thanks to all the customers who came out for lunch on Friday, and I think we had quite a few. Let's see, we've been asked by Serafini co-owner John Center about hosting a special candlelight edition of Around 10 from the restaurant on tree lighting night, and that's on November.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done that in the past, and he reached out about doing it again. And they're one of our primary sponsors of the show now, so we're working to make that happen.
Yeah.
Continuing to promote the new value-based packages for Next Band, and directly communicating with customers in specific smaller areas about transitioning to fiber. We have a new radio spot on the air to promote my FPB app, and spot advertising the Next Band app, or the Next Band packages. Those will start soon. The clubhouse has had 8 rentals since the last board meeting, and I think as of today, 16 booked through December 31st. This month for Cable 10, we've had 13 Game of the Week broadcasts. 8 of those were soccer games. 2 fiscal court meetings, 3 city commission meetings, city and county joint meeting, 5 ARBs, lectures, a couple lecture series, town hall, Capital City Community Band, the Capital City Chorale, and a handful of others. And our producers finished 6 advertising productions for local businesses, and then we did 1 internal spot for the plant board. And that's it.
And y'all had that one week where the high school and boys and girls district soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all were on like, what, 4 nights?
4
in a row?
nights, yeah, and double games on each of those nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of. They've been very busy this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Yep.
Yeah. Any questions for,
I'm just wondering, on the clubhouse, how's the feedback been? Have there's been people?
I think it's been good. From what I've heard in our weekly meetings, I haven't heard any complaints. I think people are eager to use it, and you know, you get people, you know, anytime they have to pay anything, I guess they gripe a little bit. But I think everybody's pretty happy with the facility out there and happy to use it.
All right, thank you. Next up for the NOC report will be Darren Rambo, and it looks like here for safety, Darren will be covering that as well.
Okay.
I think many of you probably know by now, much as many hats he already has, Darren's gonna be taking over safety for us. Take it away.
Thank you. Good evening.
yes, sir.
For September, the NOC entered 584 trouble calls, handled 4,102 phone calls, and on the locate side of the house, we did 671 locates. So for the year on the locate side, or for fiscal year, since July 1st, we've done 2,137 locates. So for the NOC report, that's it, unless you have any questions specific to the NOC or locate or anything like that for me.
And that's one, my internet was out this morning. I called in, did a ticket. They called me back like in 2 hours and had me back online.
Good.
So I was impressed.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. Well, I called and they started telling me how to do it, and I said, I don't know. I don't know.
Don't tell me what to do.
if it doesn't involve me, TV.
Yeah, that's right.
no
Well,
idea.
I said, they said, go to your settings, do this. I said, I don't know what you're saying. You know, just fix it. And they were very good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. On the safety side, So for the month of September, there were no vehicle accidents to report. And on the entry side, we only had one OSHA reportable for the month, and it was very minor. So good news there as well. So any questions I could answer about any of those?
Any questions for Darren on either one?
Nothing?
And congratulations on your new role.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Darren. For customer service, April's traveling this week as well, so Michelle McLean's going to cover the customer service report.
You're the one that wrote the report about the internet, weren't you?
I am.
Yeah, nice. It was a nice memo or letter.
Thank you.
Did a nice job on it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So for the overview of customer service, that starts on page 95. We had a total of 8,632 customer contacts for September. For the wait time for Tier 1 and Tier 2 at about 1.5 minutes, Tier 3 a little bit higher with just a little over 3 minutes. Now less the 4 peak days for Tier 1 and 2, just slightly over a minute. Tier 3, about 2.5 minutes. Now we are happy to say that we are almost fully staffed. We do have a new representative training right now. So hopefully in the next month or so, she'll be on her own. That'll definitely help with our call times as well. We did have 1 service issue and then 11 positive reviews as well. So that's all I have today. If anybody has any questions.
Any questions? Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Adam Heller for the telecom report.
Good evening. The telecom report starts on page 101 of your board packet with our customer numbers. Everything looks pretty good there. We had 6 outages for the month. 3 were blown fuses, 2 were power supply related, and then we had 1 had a damaged line split. Trouble calls actually lower than average from this time last year, which is always a good sign. We are I think we have 2 small areas left in our overbuild, and it'll be completely done, less some apartment complexes that we're still working through. So that is good. The grants, we are down to 15 easements.
Wow.
3 counting, 3 Hanson's working on 18. So 18 easements, we had 29 no's. We're doing some redesigns now, so hopefully we're wrapping that up. We have 2 areas completed. One was Nineveh Road and one is out off of Meek Run Road. And that turned on about 20 customers out of the 25 have already called in. We have about 155 more customers that'll come online probably next month. The construction's built. We're in the splicing phase, so as soon as we splice, we'll test and start activating those customers, or they'll be available for service. Our 2 biggest areas, we are building daily, just right now, we're building as much as we can. We're still waiting on some make-ready work with AT&T and Bluegrass Energy and redesigns for where we can't get easements. So
What's our take rate on the expansion areas?
right now, well, I mean, it's been very soft and limited, so we're about 20%.
Okay.
So, but like I said, we haven't really went door to door or
Yeah.
sent anything in the mail, so. But I think it'll go pretty fast. But those just came in as basically as soon as we activated the
Yeah.
areas. So.
Any questions for Adam?
Will the build out slow down much over the winter time? Or not?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if we get a
We
lot
get
of snow,
frigid,
the
right.
weather might slow us down. But as
Right.
far as I think everything will move pretty same speed. So,
Any other questions?
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Scott Hudson is away this week, so Russ Carter's going to be doing the electric report.
Thank you, Travis. Good evening, Board, Mr. Chair. The electric departmental reports begins on page 105 of your board package. The report covers the month of September. On page 105, you can see our reliability numbers for the month. It's been a busy month for us. The SAIDI numbers for the month were 74.956. Over on page 106, that's laid out in a pie chart. Page 107 kind of breaks down those outages, causes. Page 108, it's got our top 10 outages for the month, which is kind of the reason for our SAIDI numbers for the month. With a total number of customers affected for the month of September at 1,932. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions you have about any of that.
Any questions for Scott? Or for, sorry. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. And for AMI, we are at 21,739 electric installs. That's a little over 98%. Water, 15,297. That's 89%. So we are very close to that finish line. You know, we're hoping this spring will be at or near to completion. There's a handful of kind of odd form meters for electric we're waiting on, so we kind of been sitting at the same install rate until those come in. They're in the works, but it just, there's a little lead time coming up to that. And if the board doesn't mind, there were a couple other items on the electric report I wanted to give an update on. The DC station is online and operational, the long-awaited one that we've talked about many times. It is on Olive Street, which is that back alley kind of behind the old rail depot. So we're very happy to have that checked off. It's been used, so people seem to be finding it and making use of it. One other thing, Jason asked me to update the board on the REAP grant, the solar array that's in progress. David, if you can, there you go, beat me to it. So as you can see, we're making quite a bit of progress, almost there on the actual panel installations. You can see this was taken last week. Credit to Darren for the drone shot. Thank you for doing that. Getting very close on panel installs.
So is about 4 rows left?
Yeah, you can see there's also that strip that's kind of on the Humane Society side that will be filled in, and then those last rows are kind of across the, what would be the front facing me. So those are kind of moving along pretty well. After that, we've got to set the transformer, get it wired into the distribution system. That's pretty routine stuff. The transformer should be here or is already here, so everything's kind of lining up well with that. We've been on the contractor, you know, we want to be done by end of year. You know, a couple months left. That feels like we're making good progress towards that goal. One other thing Jason and I had kind of talked about a little bit is, you know, over the years we've discussed, do we want to look at grazing for the vegetation or the grass management? I did reach out to Mr. Colton and kind of had some back and forth with him, so he's agreed to help us out and kind of give some guidance on that. I don't think there's any action the board would need to take right now. We're just going to kind of keep exploring that and hopefully bring, you know, if it's in order, you know, an actual real proposal for the board to consider. So yeah.
Is that how's LG&E doing theirs there in Shelby County? That's the one that's on the interstate.
When we went to check it out, they mentioned at some point doing sheep and stuff like that, and it turns out there's more to grass than just being green. So, so Nat has offered his expertise in finding local grass that's not only going to look green and nice the first year, but will look green and nice going forward, and not have any invasive weeds in it and stuff. And really something that we could have the option of using sheep or some way to tend it pretty well. So he's been really kind in offering that, because he said if you come in with certain types of grass, you're just going to end up with like a brown mess after a couple of years, and you're kind of stuck. So we want to kind of make sure we do it right the first time. And I think Solar Energy Solutions has been pretty open about how to approach that.
They have been, yeah. Again, we're kind of thinking we'll kind of walk that path, because there's not a lot of incremental cost to using that grazing mix. So even if you do it, if we decided later down the road, hey, let's just mow it, you know, we're not really at a loss for anything. So we're kind of walking that path. Again, he's helping us kind of figure out the soil conditions, those types of things, make sure if we're going to do it, it'll be successful. So.
Well, and as we talked about, this is a real opportunity to showpiece for people who might be visiting Frankfurt and want to take a look at it from other parts of the state. So we just want to make it look nice and neat. So
is it already going to be fenced? Was that already part of the package?
It is fenced, yes. It's not all the way up, but if you drive by now, you can kind of get it. Should be the same as the one that's over here behind us, the black plastic. It is there. You can kind of see a little bit around the edge. There are open sections while they're working, but yes, that's the plan.
Gotcha.
So the target still is the target's the end of the year.
We're trying to get done by end of the year for the tax purposes and just everything else we want to get lined up. That's what we're shooting for. Yes. If there are not any questions on that, one other thing I wanted to update the board on, the lighting discussion from a couple months ago. You may recall this sheet that the board passed around where we just kind of updated, here's how many lights we have, here's what types they are, here's what they cost. I did share this with Dr. Barr. She appreciated getting the feedback. We shared with her, you know, on street lighting, we're somewhat dependent on the city and the county to kind of tell us what they want to do. They pay for them, they pay the bill. She seemed completely understanding of that. So that was kind of where we left that conversation. The other one we were exploring was the lighting at this building, and Mr. Cuban, I think you.
Well, Catherine had.
Yeah, I think you and I had looked at
Yes.
it. You sent out an email. I don't know. My take was that there didn't seem to be a whole lot of lights on. Before we made any changes, wanted to see if the board had any specific recommendations on the admin building. There were maybe some post lights out here that seemed like they didn't necessarily have to be on. The only concern that kind of in my mind came up is being a 24-hour facility. You want to make sure that, you know, safety and security of the employees is kept in mind.
Well, a couple of nights I rode by after Catherine mentioned it, and then I know Gary and you talked, I noticed, you know, we had about half the lights on in the parking lot, and it makes sense to have the lights on around the drop box. And then we got the customer service area, the kiosk. And then I know you all adjusted the pole lights and then turned off some of the lights, interior lights.
Right.
And I mean, I could tell that it made a difference, and it was still lit, like you said, for security. But it was mainly lit up around the roundabout there and then around the customer service area. So I don't know if, Catherine, if you've had a chance to look at it.
No, but I mean, I appreciate those adjustments, so, you know, it's a balance, and maybe you all already struck it,
Okay, yeah, so we'll kind of keep looking into those things. If there are a couple more little spots we can turn off to improve, and then just kind of keep the, like you said, the lock box and the lot lights. Okay.
And you want to do SEPA?
I can do SEPA, yes. That was what was actually on the list I was supposed to do. Thank you. Page 109 is the SEPA report. Our SEPA bill for the month of August was $83,175. Our net payment $293,831 for a benefit to the board of $210,656, which brings us to $1,406,558 so far for the calendar year of 2025. So.
And how's that square, David, with your?
Yeah, we're looking for around 2.5 million a year, so we're on a fiscal, that's a calendar, so, but it still helps us out. That reduces our energy cost.
Right. Mr. John Major?
Yes, for KYMEA, we had a meeting on the Owensboro when we had joined a meeting together with League City annual meeting. But I really don't have any as a usual meeting. So, but I mean, I'm open to ask if you have any question or comment or anything. I need to provide detail.
Any questions for Gary on? Okay.
Thank you.
Travis?
Yes, sir. So for water distribution, Bruce, you want to give us an update?
Good evening, everybody. So starting on page 113 in your board packet, you will see there were 3 new water services installed. Page 114 reflects we had 4 water main breaks, and page 115 shows 2 water outages that had to take place in order to fix the water main breaks. A couple of little pieces of information for you. Throughout the month, we worked approximately 776 service orders through the water department. The main crew and service crew together laid approximately 2,130 foot of pipe. A lot of that at 421 and the Paddocks property. And then, you know, through dead end flushing, proper maintenance, flushed about 146,000 gallons of water.
How's the, Travis, for both you and Bruce, how's the Paddocks coming in terms of water installation, electric, and are we about done out there, or?
Yes, for electric, for those that are ready to be on, we're in good shape. Obviously, the big one is Target. They're the one that needs to be in first. So we're in good shape. I think we've got everything lined up. Some of those customers that will come later will kind of withhold some of the facility extensions until they're ready for them. But yeah, I mean, as far as electric is concerned, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, as far as us with water, we met Target's deadline, having the water in around the perimeter of the building. That way work could take place. We were out of the way. The job itself, Paddocks, it's a very large job. Seems like we start to make headway, but then someone else needs to come in and do something. So we're flexible where we have like 3 jobs going on out there at one time. We can pull off for a couple of days, go work in another area, have to be productive. And then once we get kind of the okay to move back to where we were from the job site superintendent. We'll bounce back over, finish that part of the project, and then, like I say, we've got all kinds of work out there, so we're able to stay busy, move around. And then, of course, you have the roundabout behind Kroger. That's kind of a fourth area we're
Right.
working on over there. So within that whole area, we're able to stay productive, move, and, get it knocked out, so. Anybody else have any questions? If not? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Brandon, water treatment plant?
Good evening, everyone. For the month of September, the water treatment plant treated 293,522,000 gallons of water for an average of 9.78 million gallons a day, and Lock 4 averaged 939 cubic feet per second for an average of 607 million gallons a day. And there was 5.5 inches of rain this month, so not too awful bad.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Travis, Gary?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Action items. First item is conduct election of officers of the Board of Directors of the Frankfurt Plant Board. Hans, you're going to officiate?
Yes, sir, I can do that. Well, I've had some questions. Do we want to amend the bylaws or how does the board want to proceed?
I appreciate it, and it's truly been an honor to chair this board for 6 years, and you all amended the bylaws 2 years ago, and I served a third term. But I think, like anything else, I think as much as I enjoy it, and I do enjoy it, but I think also, I don't think it's a good idea to continue to amend the bylaws to make that kind of adjustment. So I think, at least from my perspective, I think, I've been honored to serve the six years, but I think, at this point, we just need to have the elections, knowing that I've served out my maximum term.
Okay, sure, I hadn't heard anything. I had some.
Well, I didn't form a political action committee. I didn't raise any money. Fundraising dried up. It was not good, It was
I didn't see any signs of.
I had a fundraiser. Nobody came. I mean, it wasn't good. No.
John has lost a little hair.
Okay, well, then I had set up a variety of motions depending on which direction the board wanted to go tonight. So thank you. I would just then ask for a motion to open the floor for nominations for the board chair.
I move to open the floor for nominations for the board chair.
Second.
Although you do that, don't you? Or do I? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, floor is open.
Floor is open for nominations. So I hear nominations for the board chair.
I'd like to nominate John Snyder for chair.
I hear John Snyder.
Second.
Hear any other nominations? Without hearing any further nominations, I'll ask for a motion to close the floor for nominations for board chair.
So moved.
Second.
Have a vote. Do I have a vote to close the floor?
A vote, or you got the motion? We just.
A motion second.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
So, all in favor of closing the floor for nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, floor is closed.
So do I hear a motion to elect John Snyder as the board chairman of the Frankfurt Plant Board?
I make that motion.
I hear a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
John, vote for yourself. You
Huh?
vote for yourself.
Yeah, whatever.
I can turn it over to Mr. Snyder to conduct the remainder, or I can continue, whatever the preference is.
It's fine. Hans, why don't you go ahead and finish, since you've got the script in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go ahead and finish that up?
Will do. Motion to open the floor then for nominations for the vice chair of the Frankfurt Plant Board.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Floor is open for nominations for the vice chair for the Frankfurt Plant Board. Do I hear nominations for vice chair?
I'll make a motion to nominate John Cuban for the vice chair.
Second.
I hear John Cubine for vice chair. Do I hear any further nominations for vice chair? Hearing no further nominations for vice chair, I'll ask for a motion to close the floor for nominations for vice chair.
So moved.
Second.
A motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Floor is closed for the nominations for vice chair. Do I have a motion to elect Mr. John Cubine as the vice chair?
So
of the
moved.
Frankfurt Planning Board? Have a motion, do I hear a
Second.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
too many motions.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Cubine. Then we have the last office, Secretary of Treasurer. So I'll ask for a motion to open the floor for nominations for Secretary Treasurer.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Floor is open for nominations for the vice chair. Do I hear not vice chair, I'm sorry, for Secretary Treasurer. Do I hear nominations for Secretary Treasurer?
I'd like to nominate Jason DeLong.
I hear Jason DeLong as the Secretary Treasurer of Frankfurt Planning Board. Do I hear any further nominations?
I'll second the
Hearing-
nomination.
Hearing no further nominations, I ask for a motion to close the floor for nominations for Secretary Treasurer.
I move we close the floor.
Have a motion to close the floor.
Second.
Here, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Floor is closed for nominations for the Secretary Treasurer. Do I have a motion to elect Mr. Jason DeLong as the Secretary Treasurer of the Frankfurt Planning Board?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Can I hear a second?
Mm-hmm.
Or a second, did I hear a second?
Mhm.
Yep.
Got a second? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do I have a motion, to elect Mr. Jason DeLong as the,
You already got the motion,
Okay.
just
We
voted.
have that, we need to vote.
Yeah.
got any vote out?
Yeah.
Got mixed up on my script here,
Mm.
I'm sorry. So do we have a vote to elect Mr. Jason DeLong?
Aye.
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 Here's 3 ayes.
Four.
Aye.
Four ayes.
Aye.
Yeah, 4 ayes. And that concludes the elections for officers of the Frankfurt Planning Board. So thank everyone for their service.
All right.
Take your signs next time.
Pen hand stretched out,
John, you want me to go on You wanna
doesn't
finish
matter,
up?
doesn't
You
matter.
wanna finish
Actually,
it
either way, it doesn't
You- if
matter.
you wanna take it,
I don't wanna feel like I'm usurping power in some sort of backwater coup or.
No, it'd be okay.
We can all change seats and make
Yeah,
sure.
no, that'd be good. Moving to the next item on the agenda, item 5.2, consider award of bid invitation number 1532, or, I'm sorry, 1832 for foundation removal and installation of State Farm Substation to EZ Construction Incorporated, the amount of $267,100. Travis?
Yes, sir, thank you. So this invitation was publicly advertised and sent to several local contractors. One response was received. Just to add to that, we did have a pre-bid meeting. 2 showed up, 1 elected not to bid just due to timeline. So there was more than 1 interested, but we ended up with the 1 bid received from EZ Construction. We've worked with EZ on several projects. They did a substation job for us, the one on Wilkinson. They did a lot of the foundation work there. They've been really great to work with. So staff is requesting the bid award 1832 to EZ Construction for $267,100. And again, this will be, David mentioned our T21 project's one of our big capital projects in electric. That new transformer is ready to be delivered, so the contractor will be helping us get rid of the old one, busting out the old foundation, and putting in the new foundation. So happy
And
to
it is under the budgeted amount of 272.
It is. We're just under budget there. There shouldn't be a lot of ancillary charges to that. We may end up, if we go over budget on this project as a whole, we're going to be so well under capital for electric. I don't know that there's really cost.
Any questions from any of the members? Not, I'll take a motion to approve the bid invitation.
So moved.
Motion. Motion by Steve Mason, second by John Cubine. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Next up, item 5.3, consider awarding bid invitation 1822 to wet or dry tank inspection services for the Sullivan Tank Cleaning Project for a lump sum of $53,400. Charmista?
Okay, so Sullivan Tank is our 2 million gallon elevated storage tank that you can see when you're coming into Frankfurt from the east side off First Sales Road. It is in due of cleaning, anybody that's seen it recently. So we've prepared an invitation to bid. It's publicly advertised and directly emailed. We did receive 3 bids, which are listed here in the agenda item. The low bidder is Wet or Dry Tank Inspection Services for $53,400. They performed work for us in the past. They're also the firm that completed our cleaning of our Hahn tank as well. They did the interior and the exterior. And this project is concluded as a maintenance expense in our current budget. We recommend awarding to Wet or Dry Tank Inspection Services. I'm happy to answer any questions.
And once again, can you explain the huge difference in the bid numbers?
I can. So the drone cleaning business is kind of a newly booming business right now.
Okay.
So they'll Wet or Dry will use a drone, which they actually came and did a test wash for us, so we could make sure we were going to happy with the results, and we were. They actually brought a smaller drone just to do the test, and it actually looked pretty good. So they'll bring in more of a commercial. It's called a heavy lift drone, so they can lift the hoses up. Crom, when they submitted their method, they were going to use man lifts. And Curran's, they were going to use man lifts and scaffolding. So it's all about just getting the manpower up there. So.
Okay. Any other questions from any of the board members? Not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the bid invitation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Member Mason, second by Member Dutton Mitchell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5.4, consider approval of the procurement process for an RFP for CIS and ERP systems.
Good evening.
Okay.
So this is to go ahead and take advantage of the competitive negotiations and the RFP process that's coming up. We've been working the past several weeks with the consultant. We've been all 3 divisions, really a collaborative effort between everybody here at the plant board on the operations and admin side to look at what's out there, kind of working with the consultant on requirements gathering, getting the RFP ready. So we're getting close to mid-November. We're going to publish it at that point. It'll be out there for the prescribed time. Come back in December, probably create a short list. January, February, come in and have the vendors come in and do their demos and start to evaluate. Looking for a budget proposal for the next fiscal year, and we'll kind of bring that around March, during that normal budget time coming up. So this is just to kind of utilize the competitive negotiation side of it. I think it'll be advantageous in this process.
Okay. Any questions?
Any questions?
Any of the members?
When do you expect the actual bid to be?
In mid-November.
Mid-November, and then it'll be out.
And then it'll be out, the 21 day, I think it's no less than 7, no more than 21 is kind of the time frame to be out there.
Will the expenditure be then in this fiscal year?
No, sir, it'll be in next fiscal year.
All right. If there are no other questions from any of the members, I would entertain a motion to approve the procurement process for the RFP for a new CIS and ERP system.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
A motion made by Member Catherine Dutton Mitchell, second by Member DeLong. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 5.5, Harvey, you gonna come up for a few of these?
I'll be appearing for Harvey.
Okay, all right. First one.
He's out at a conference looking into new ways to market all our great services, so he asked me to present.
All right, first one up is approving of the outdoor channel renewal.
Yes, sir. Items, if I could suggest, items 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7. These are all programming renewals.
Okay.
2 are NCTC and 1 is a direct. Outdoor and World Fishing are NCTC and NBA is a direct. They're as they renewals, the agreements, they impose no additional carriage requirements and increases are all within our budgeted amounts. The outdoor channel is on our classic cable tier. Fishing Network is on the optional preferred cable tier. The NBA channel is on the optional preferred Sports Plus tier. So if the board would like to consider, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve items 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7.
So you're creating like a consent agenda.
Yeah. Would it be okay to take one motion for each of the items?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. That'd be perfect.
If that's the case, are there any questions? Because, the way I feel, as long as the World Fishing Network stays on our channel, then all's right with the world, so.
All set.
Are there any other questions from any of the other members? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve the carriage agreements outlined in items 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. We're gonna move to, I guess you, Hans, again, item 5.8, consider the appointment of Clay Baxter to the Cable Advisory Committee. If you'll explain that one for us.
So I'd first like to thank Mr. Baxter for his help with the committee. He is a former member of the committee. We've had multiple parties, we made multiple advertisements for the committee. I advertised for about 6 months and haven't been able to locate any folks that are able to serve at this time. So Mr. Baxter graciously stepped forward and offered his service. So would ask for a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Clay Baxter to the Cable Advisory Committee.
I actually saw Clay here at the Customer Appreciation Day on Friday and thanked him for his willingness to volunteer. He was a good member in the past, and like I said, we've had an issue getting volunteers, and I'm glad that he was able to step up and do that. So I would heartily endorse this. Any other members have questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.9, consider selection of a third-party administrator for FPB's health plan, Michelle. And I believe everybody's got something at their desks, a memo from Cheryl Morgan and an information sheet. Turn it over to you, Michelle.
Good evening, board members and board chair. Due to the recent disruption in our current health plan, particularly affecting access to key providers such as UK and Norton, our health plan consultant, Cheryl Morgan, has recommended that we consider an alternative health network option. To begin this process, staff issued a request for proposal for a new third-party administrator and received responses from 3 candidates: our current TPA MedBen, as well as Veracity and Point C. MedBen and Veracity both have access to our current network. In addition, MedBen also offers access to First Health Network. Point C offers access to Anthem, the Anthem network, which is comparable to our current network and includes providers currently unavailable. Based on the proposals received, staff is presenting the board with 3 options to consider. The first option is to remain with MedBen and retain our current network. And then listed on that handout that you have, it lists the pros and some cons with that option. And then option 2, remain with MedBen and switch to First Health as our new network. Or option 3, completely change TPAs from MedBen to Point C and use the Anthem network. Does the board members have any questions?
Mr. Chair? Oh, Steve.
Yeah, go right ahead.
If you could, I had the opportunity to meet with Michelle on Monday. To meet with Michelle on Monday, and she didn't get the RFP information all in until Friday. And at the time, I talked to her, and it made sense at the time to get the information out to the board, for everybody to look at it, ask any questions. We've been with MedBen and Cigna, for almost 15 years?
Yes, since 2009.
Anthem is the network that active state government employees, active teachers, and retirees under 65 are in. It's about a 400,000 plus network. So it's a big network, and obviously in central Kentucky and so forth. But as Michelle mentioned, we've been kind of doing workarounds around some providers over the last really couple of years, on and off. I mean, it's a big, if we want to change, we're going to have to make a decision, not necessarily tonight, but by the end of the month. because we're going to have transition, new cards, so forth. If we want to stay with MedBin, we've got time because it just continues what we have. But it's a big switch for employees. As I understand, Michelle, the plans would be comparable for our employees.
Yes, because we own the plan, where we're self-funded, so the benefits won't change. We may discuss adding or removing benefits, but that's normal. But for overall, because we're self-funded, the benefits won't change.
And
or
so
shouldn't
Michelle
change.
suggested that in the next few days, she could get some input from employees in terms of the current plan, do they like it or not, the current provider. You know, as always, you always have people say, well, there's been problems here, problems there, but that's with any service. But it's a big transition, but she's gotten some stop loss data.
Yes.
Because one of the questions that came up yesterday was, if we switch to Anthem, would it cost more or less than our current plan? And the indications are, it actually could be a little less expensive, but certainly not more expensive if we switch. But you don't know that, I mean, because your costs are based on rates and utilization,
Experience, right, yeah.
But Michelle's done, you know, some homework on it since then. She's gathering more information. And like I said, I worked on this some with her yesterday, but just thought it was the kind of thing that we ought to bring it tonight to let everybody have a chance to look at it, talk about it, answer any questions. And then if we want to, if there's an interest, I mean, obviously nothing stops us from voting tonight if the board wants to do that. But if you have some questions, you want some additional time, give employees more input, we probably have to have some type of special meeting by the end of the month. So I don't know if that helps Michelle, but that was part of the discussion, and we pulled Sharmista and David in yesterday. David's kind of looked at it and thinks from a price standpoint, we should be okay this year, but it does not look, based on initial things, like we're necessarily looking at an increase in cost. So I just wanted to throw that in since I spent a little time on it yesterday. I'll turn it back. So, thanks, Mr. Chair.
Sure. Any other members?
What's the status of their negotiation with UK? Is that ongoing, kind of like they were doing with Norton, or
Yes, that's completed. So currently they don't have a relationship, and it doesn't look as if they're going to change anything. But again, we're not always privileged to the inside discussions, but as far as we know, there's no continuing communication.
And then the networks they do have agreements with, those last for a year or 2 years? I know Norton they just completed, or is it just whenever?
Again, we don't, because it just depends on their relationship and whatever changes they want to meet when they decide to go back to the table. So.
Good thing insurance isn't complicated on any
No,
other fronts.
not at all.
Just this one,
Not
you
at
get this
all.
done, it's all so easy.
Well, the thing with Anthem, and I mean, I've got no complaints with MedBin and Cigna, and I've used it some. But the one thing Anthem has is they're such a big network, it's hard for providers not to participate in their network because there's just so many covered people, you know, in the state. And of course, they're the old Blue Cross, they're the new Blue Cross Blue Shield. So I mean, them and United are really the dominant carriers. Humana is really primarily now in the over 65 Medicare sub business.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're a big player, especially in Central Kentucky with state government, active teachers, so forth.
Would you mind talking about the con to Anthem? I've used Anthem in the past.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Yeah.
solid. But what's the con there?
Okay, so if we select Anthem, the TPA point C that we will be working with, they are requiring us to use their pharmacy. And so currently we use Ventegra, which is provided to us by MedBin. And so we will lose what is called transparency and manufacturer rebates. And so what that means is currently right now, depending on what drug is used, we receive rebates, and MedBin or Ventegra passes that completely on to us. So if a manufacturer wants to give us $200 in rebates, we receive a check for $200. Well, with the new pharmacy that's attached to point C, they won't give us the rebates. They say they would give us a discount, but we don't get to see what the rebates are. So there's no transparency there. We won't get to see what the rebates are, and they could be giving us a percentage of the rebates and not the full amount.
So they're keeping some of the rebates themselves, or is it pass through?
Right. Yes. So they've been upfront that we'll get a discount, but again, there's no transparency where we will see what our actual rebates are. And in talking to our consultant, that's just one of the ways sometimes the TPA kind of and make up additional money on the situation.
So that could affect our overall budget, operating our health plan, but not maybe the front end staff's benefits and stuff, right?
Right,
Just
correct. And that's
our
just on the
overall
back
costs.
end, yes.
But while they will do that, they will offer, say, what you called in Cheryl Morgan's document, a guaranteed rebate, which, may not be the full rebate like you said, but to be honest with you, when you get in the world of pharmacy benefit managers, I'm not sure how transparent is. I'm just gonna say it right there. So, at least if we had that guaranteed number, then we'd have a budget number we could work with to kind of see where we are and how that fits into the plan. So, it's not like we're not, we get the discounts. It's not like we won't get any rebates, but we'll kind of know ahead of time what they're going to give us, and we can work that into our budget. So, I just think, when Jason brought up the idea of, I just think it's untenable that we go into a new year with a plan where one of the largest hospitals in Kentucky that a lot of people will go to and get service from is shut out to our employees. We have to do special workarounds for them. I just think that's untenable. So we're going to have to figure out doing something. So I don't know what the pleasure of the board is. If you all would like to study this a little more, get a little bit more information, we could do a special Zoom meeting, sometime over the next couple of weeks or so, sometime before the end of the month, maybe a couple days, and kind of see where we are, or if everybody feels like they're ready to make a decision, we can do that. But I would like just a little bit more time, because this has kind of come cold to some folks. So maybe I don't know what the preference is. We can get together and figure out what a time would be. Just make sure we give proper notice. So I don't know, Catherine, do you have anything you want to add to this? Steve?
Is it oversimplifying to say financially, kind of, there's not a big difference to us? Is that correct?
The fees related to the TPA, the third-party administrator, are very comparable to where we are today. It's going to come down to claims. That's 80% of the cost. So I believe that's some of the additional information we're looking for is what do claims look like, apples to apples, between Cigna and Anthem.
So maybe with more time, we could get that info and then some employee preference, although I think you made a strong argument for not picking one that's not going to give us access to UK.
Well, and we've kind of backdoored access to UK through it, but I just don't think that's a long term, that's tenable in the long term. So you're right. So if we could find out, do you have any idea when we might be able to get some of that information on claims?
So as far as claims, Lisa Stam did email me today, and our stop loss carrier said that Anthem would save about 4% on claims costs over the in comparison to our current network, and that has to do with the discounts. But
Right.
again, it depends on what claims hit,
What utilization hits? Yeah.
Then,
Go ahead, John.
Then I think from what we talked yesterday, since we were considering it, then we were given the references, and you still have to check some of the references, right?
Yes. So Lisa Stam they have a client that currently use Point C, and so we did reach out, and that was a favorable reference. But Point C, they said if they were selected as one of the finals, they would provide us with references. So we reached out to them today and requested that they do that.
When do you think you might be able to answer some of these questions and might be ready for us to convene a special meeting? Do you have any idea?
As far as the reference, I can circle back to Lisa and let them know that we need that by the end of the week. So, I'm sorry, I don't have a calendar. I believe next Friday is the 31st, so maybe Tuesday. Should be good, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday? Okay. Would everybody be available for a special meeting, say, on Wednesday? So let's pencil in a special meeting Wednesday. Is noon okay? around the lunchtime hour? Is that okay for everybody?
I think I might have something lunch early in the evening, but Wednesday's open outside of that, so late morning. But
Okay. What about 11 o'clock? Would that work for everybody?
yeah,
Can we
right.
do it earlier?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
at 9?
9? Okay.
9 would work, yeah.
So that'd be Wednesday, the 29th, and that'll be 9 a.m., and that'll be a Zoom meeting. Okay?
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, go ahead, Jason.
With this transfer, if we did do a transfer over, how does that affect people's, sorry, the word's not coming to mind.
HRAs and...
No, I was thinking more like people have already started paying toward their deductible. If you shift.
So it would be, the new
Beginning-
plan would start
beginning of the year.
1/1, so it would start, so
Yeah.
you're gonna start over anyway.
Yeah, so it's something that we're gonna, okay.
Right.
But you did bring up a point, how would it affect folks that have the HRA right now with MedBand? You know, would that still carry over? Would we be able to transfer that, or does that, how would that
Yes,
work?
so based on their proposal, because that was one of the questions, we let them know that we do have a wellness program and HRA,
Yeah.
and so they responded that they could administer those type plans.
Okay, good.
So there is gonna be a difference,
Right.
but they did say, so again, based on their proposal, our benefits should remain the same. So what employees are going to see is a new card, but you have to provide, usually providers ask for you to provide a new card at the beginning of the year anyway. So they'll have a new card. We will have a new summary plan document, but it will still be our current benefits, but they have to create our new document for us. So it's just gonna almost be just a change of face for employees. It's the behind the scenes where there'll be more changes for us.
And it'll still be medical, dental, vision, just the whole suite?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Gary?
I don't want to say that lightly. Staff take this very, very seriously for the last couple of years, because what we saw is currently network has issues and start to have a bigger issue when UK is not in the service, which is one of the large provider. It's not we want to change it. It's something I'm afraid they're going to be a very painful process go through it, because it's a new network. Not necessarily all the doctor in the existing network going to be in here. So I'm afraid there are going to be more headache and more road bump we go through it. But the bottom line is, in order for us to provide the benefit to the employee long term, we have no choice. We have to choose the largest network, which is can cover for us.
And you know, I think what we've seen with not only UK, but with Norton, and then with United last year where we had the, you know, we've had, so I think Cigna just hardballs their people, and that they have a very strong negotiation stance, and I just don't think that we're in a position where that kind of disruption is good for our employees. This is gonna be a little bit of a growing pain situation, but I think once it's settled out, I think our employees will be better off.
Yes, and good part is this is still our own insurance.
Right.
So
This is
anything
yes.
we cannot work out network, we always go the back part. We can work for ourselves. So, but you know, I don't want to deny it. It's going to be could be hard for a certain employee too. Dealing with, that's a different change. So, and the second part definitely I want to consider the cost too. I'm glad that, you know, stop loss is a lower cost compared to other network, but we actually don't know. We do know our existing network for the last 15 years relationship. This new one can work in. Hopefully we can find out by end of the year. I hope is at least cost can be even. Saving would be great. So, but thank you, Chairman. Yes.
Okay. Nichelle, you've got your charge in front of you, and we'll get ready for the meeting next week to make a final decision. But
Okay.
we appreciate all your help.
All right,
and all
thank
your
you.
work. Okay, that concludes the action items. General Manager, anything else to add?
Thank you, no.
Okay. Older new business, I actually have one point, already causing trouble as the new chair. I have an obligation. I'm gonna be in Washington DC for a work-related, NCSL meeting on the 18th, but it's a one-day trip up and back. That is the date of the November meeting. I would rather not miss it if I could, and I was wondering if, folks would be open to reschedule. We sent an email out around earlier and didn't hear a whole lot back. I didn't know if Monday would be an okay date for everybody, the 17th.
Yes.
We could have a special meeting on that day at 5, and we'll get that out. The only problem with that, of course, is we just have to make sure that everything we talk about is gonna be on the agenda, because we can't bring up anything that's not on the agenda. So it'll technically be a special meeting. So the November meeting then will be at, in this room here, November 17th instead of the 18th at 5 p.m. Already causing trouble. Any other old or new business? Mr. Cuban, could I get a motion from you to go into special session?
I'd like to
Closed session?
request permission to call a closed session pursuant to KRS 61-810-1C to discuss pending litigation regarding a contract matter as well as a Federal Energy Regulatory Commission FERC matter.
Yes.
Oh, and then Ms. Yes.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're going into closed session. Give us about 5 minutes, and whoever needs to stay will stay in this room. I'll need a motion to come out of closed session.
I move we come out of closed session.
That's second.
Motion made and seconded to come out of closed session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Mr. Cubine, do we need to do anything from the closed session?
No action was taken. We need to take no action that's coming out of closed session.
All right then, if that's the case, then I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded for adjournment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. We'll see you next month.